Today we have some interesting tea. I wanted to get into an update on legal action and what has happened with the person V was threatening to take legal action on. We also have V's recent appearance and alleged band Stalker that appeared. And lastly, we need to talk about people who believe that JHope is being rushed out. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hate or not, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on. Go grab it, Dumplings. Hey Splitting Merch, and let's go. We need to talk about JHope being rushed out, or the rumor that he is being rushed out of the group. I think this is crazy rumor and it doesn't really make too much sense. But as always, once BTS or specific members start getting into the news again, it's very common for the entire group to be talked about. And in K-pop, this means the issues that the fandom has had in the past come to light. And the K-pop fandom doesn't like to forget things, and they almost wait for moments like this before resurfacing some old gripes. So what happened today? Well, BTS members released their song on Take Two. It's a beautiful song and I do react to the song over on Patreon if you're interested in joining the community over there and listening to some fun music and fangirl together. I will link that in the description. However, the song did get some backlash because of the line distribution. Line distribution is a very touchy subject among all K-pop groups because every fan of the group has a specific bias or person they like more than anyone else. Of course, when you are a fan of one member over the other, you tend to root for them and get very disappointed when you notice the labels giving that member very little lines in a song. And people were specifically upset over JHope's lack of lines, and there's even a chart for the percentage of lines given to whichever member. I think this is the issue right off the bat. I think when people are constantly looking up videos and graphs of how often so-and-so member speaks or how often does so-and-so member do this, this can create problems because it's likely the members themselves probably don't even notice or aren't severely bothered by it. When you're going from press to press or show to show, you really don't have time to think of stuff like that. People like to use an example of if the members ever imply that they would like more screen time, or if the members address line distribution at all, it's a sign that they're upset. But the dynamics of a group and how line distribution works is not like that at all. Vocal ability is a big one. BTS members have been releasing more ballads and pop songs, so for the rappers to take more lines, it doesn't make as much sense. And then even something as simple as the artist's particular voice doesn't match that song as well. When we have the song Dynamite by BTS, where Jin gets less lyrics, but then they gave him more on Permission to Dance because he suited that song well. And it's also funny because if you go on Google, you'll see people complaining and writing forums about how Jin always has the least lines in a song. But if you look up JHope, you'll see the exact same complaint about him. So who has the least lines? JHope or Jin? It can't be both. Who has the least? People were saying that the group has been trying to rush JHope out of the group by giving him so little lines on Take Two, and that is why JHope should be doing his own thing or trying to make his own music. But again, people don't take into consideration what the members want. If any, and I mean any of the members, do not want to be a part of the group or think that they're being treated unfairly, they are more than welcome to not re-sign when the boys want to come back together as Seven again. JHope could easily create his own album going forward and be very successful because he is choosing to not do that, and he is choosing to work with BTS members because he loves doing that. Line distribution isn't everything and has no bearing on whether the member is treated well or not. Overall, I don't think the members, and definitely not the label, are trying to push JHope out. Unfair treatment probably and likely comes from outside sources and people who decide to write and say some weird things about other human beings. A specific person I want to bring up is Sojang. I typically avoid saying names, but I feel like when I do, people have no idea what I'm talking about, and you know what? People in the community have no problem dropping names, so why am I trying so hard to censor everything? But if you are not aware, Sojang is a YouTuber who got very popular from talking about K-pop and saying things that are odd. It's pretty clear that a lot of the content and videos are made with some sort of dislike for the idol, and oftentimes the dating rumor they would insinuate aren't coming from extremely factual places. Things like what Stan Twitter probably does, like two idols were wearing the same necklaces, and then other things like fat shaming idols and things like that. People have looked into Sojang as the YouTuber has drawn a lot of attention from K-pop idols. Idols like V, Xiumin from EXO, and then recently ATEEZ, who have threatened legal action. People found that Sojang is allegedly a woman that could be in her late 40s, and the reason they think this is because the fans think that they found other blogs and social media sites connected to Sojang that dated back to first-generation K-pop artists. So if that's true, then she's been around for many years. And so I assume these potential lawsuits don't scare her. I don't know. Recently, AT's label, KQ Entertainment, came out and talked about Sojang and basically called Sojang a criminal and that there's so many things she has violated. The whole statement just lists everything followed by what legal actions they will be doing to Sojang. There's been a big group of people who have asked me if I know the status of the lawsuit, and of course specifically with V. Unfortunately, we do not have updates on this, and the reason being is the case likely did not go to trial, the case is not over, and then of course whatever the laws are in that area. These things would prevent the case from being on public records where you could just Google it. Even if the label is able to prove Sojang's defamation towards the artist, which defamation is already so difficult to prove, they still can't put Sojang in jail or stop her from talking about the artist afterwards. And even if they can do that, she can just move forward to whatever newer artist is coming out, and chances are she just has to pay a fine. Given her views are sometimes in the millions, I would say it's not anything she can't afford. And a lot of YouTubers, especially news YouTubers, have something called omissions and error liability insurance, which covers defamation cases. So the insurance will just pay the fine for her. And then on top of that, YouTubers are able to legally be considered a business, so they can register for an LLC or as a corporation, which has lawsuit protection as well. I didn't want to talk about this because it's not good news. It doesn't mean she'll stop, but just be aware that this happens. And the worst thing is that it gives the genre a really bad name and makes people who try to give accurate and good information look bad as well. However, what you can go to jail for is stalking. That is a big deal in Korea now and definitely a big deal here in the US. Stalking is a big concern with idols because with any idol you have crazy fans who want to literally be in the same house or apartment with them or just breathe their air. So the fans do get very protective over anyone coming near V at any event. Recently, V attended the Siminvestival fan meet where he showed up in his new hair and then greeted ARMY, and then he went inside. He got a chance to speak to everyone and take pictures with everyone. I'm sure anyone that came out to see him was really happy about it. There was some photos floating around with the watermark Nuna V. This is a fan page that posts a lot of really high-res photos from concerts, fan meets, and then high-res videos and photos from airports. People always wonder how she gets the invitation or how she knows about these events, and then her page gets a lot of hate from fans who think that she's a stalker. A couple of points I wanted to bring up was that V often greets her personally, and she has posted before how she personally gets invited to events like Celine and those things, which is how she gets in. I think a lot of people confuse her with someone else. So we know a little while ago there was a girl who followed BTS members at the airport with no pants. People were saying that she was trying hard to kiss V and Jungkook while being pantless at the airport. Her name had Nuna in it, and it was believed that when Big Hit released a list of blacklisted fan sites and blacklisted fans, she was one of them. Do we know for sure? No, but this is a belief. Now, because Nuna V has the same Nuna in it, it's believed that Nuna V is the same girl. And people then reported and attacked Nuna V's account. This is a whole level of stupid and a whole level of living in a bubble. The word Nuna derives from the Korean word Nuna, which is used similar to oppa, and Nuna is specifically used to refer to an older sister of boys. So Nuna V is referring to herself as the sister of V of BTS. We never see Nuna V get way too close to V and attack him or violate his personal space. It has never happened. And so for the fandom to mix up two usernames and assume it's the same person is ridiculous to me. That's like if I said that man walking on the street is the same person as me because he goes by he too. People would rather report and threaten someone's account without knowing if they are indeed a bad person. And what's worse is if they do cause any damage to this undeserving person and they realize they were wrong, do they feel bad? I'm genuinely curious, or are they still like, well, they deserved it? And what's worse is that other people in the same fandom will jump on hate created by these people who don't know anything. It's genuinely such a big issue and why a lot of idols get very depressed and anxious. Please, if you see things like this, there's no research involved, please tell them to stop. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.